What's up, everybody? Welcome into Ravenwood Raptors Football Weekly. I'm Paul Hickey of NoOffSeason.com, and I'm really pumped to be here with Ravenwood head football coach Will Hester. How you doing, my man?
Pumped, Paul. First one and excited.
First one. We're going to be doing this weekly during the Raptors football season of 2024. I'm excited to do it with you every week. This is our first episode, so welcome in all of you supporters out there, and we're going to give a shout out to everyone else who made this episode possible at the end of the episode. So we have a lot of people to thank. But first, I want to talk about the fact that Game 1 is Friday, August 23rd at Alcoa, the Alcoa Tornadoes. Now, I did a little bit of research here. They're 22-time state champions. Is that right, Coach?
Yeah, going for their 9th in a row. So, they put a flag up each time. So they're almost circling the field with these flags. And, fun fact about Alcoa, named after the Aluminum Company of America. That's why the town is named. So, a rich history and, obviously manufacturing aluminum and those kinds of things. But a storied program in the state of Tennessee.
Amazing. That's crazy. So they've gone from like a AA division, AAA division, but when you combine all of the years going back the last 19 years, whatever division they've been in, my research says they've won 17 out of the last 19. You said they're going for how many in a row? 9?
This will be 9 in a row.
Crazy. So Friday, August 23rd, we're going to be there. I'm going to be there. You'll be coaching. I'll be broadcasting. More info on that in a minute. But before we talk about Alcoa, let's talk about the Raptors, Ravenwood Raptors. Let's talk about heading into the 2024 season. Key changes, right? So additions, maybe talk about some of the additions to the program, whether they be, student athletes rising up or anyone coming in from different schools, things like that. Talk about key additions to the Raptors program this year.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, not a whole lot of additions. One positive about the season is a lot of depth returning, a lot of kids returning on both sides of the football. I think 8 or 9 starters on offense, 8 or 9 starters on defense back from last year. We've had a couple of additions to the program. We had the Husak twin brothers move in from Lipscomb Academy. Dallas Stallings moved in from Brentwood Academy in the secondary. But outside of those additions, very few other changes to the roster other than guys being a year older.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good thing. More experience, more leadership, gelling together as a team, I would imagine. Anyone leave the program that you're going to miss this year?
I mean, obviously, all those seniors and their leadership they provided, you miss those guys. Lucas Houston played a ton of snaps for us in the secondary, and he's gone. And Cam Boson kind of anchored our offensive line for several years, and he's gone. Jacob Thompson probably has as many or close to as many starts as anybody in our program. Started every game from his freshman year, missed one due to illness, and played every other single game for his whole 4-year career. So clearly we'll miss those guys. Carter Pace was a very good running back for us. And, so there's some guys that we're going to have to fill the holes of, but I think we have the right people to do that.
Now, in terms of like the depth that you talked about, and I've watched some of the scrimmages already this year, and I see strengths on both sides of the ball. Talk about the offense first. Talk about the strengths on the offense.
Yeah, we have 2 quarterbacks that can, make dynamic plays at any time. Maverick Chance and Femi Babalola. Femi, was the starter for most of the year last year. Maverick missed a lot of the season last year due to injury. But having both of those guys back and healthy kind of give us a 2-headed monster to be able to do a lot of things with. A staple of running backs. Carter Pace's younger brother, Caden, who kind of burst onto the scene at the end of last year, getting some carries as a freshman, is back. Davis Dolan, who was our leading rusher last year, is back, and then Will Harry's had a great preseason as a senior in the backfield for us. And then you got Bucknell commit, Patrick Sullivan at tight end, Ben Hubbard, MTSU commit at wide receiver, Kyle Larkin, the MTSU commit at tackle. Looks like we're going to have 5 of our top 6 offensive linemen are seniors. So a lot of old guys on that offense.
Now, on the defensive side of the ball, I know the secondary's strong. I know the D-line probably pretty strong. Talk about the defense.
Yeah, the defense, has the potential to be the best one we've had here. A lot of depth over there. We can go 2 and 3 deep at most every position on the defensive side of the football. You're absolutely correct about the secondary. It starts at the safety position for us, though, with Jaden Smithman, senior safety, played a lot of snaps for us, and then Jalen Pollard, who's played at an amazingly high level, had a pick 6 in our last Jamboree game, playing really, really well. And then, you can't forget about the 4-star recruit at boundary corner for us and Donovan Starr, who's committed to Auburn right now. And then on the D-line, you got Elliott Hampton, who's committed to Cornell, super smart young man, played a lot of snaps for us up there. Then you got Sam Rowan and Lucas McCullum and Jalen Ellis and, Graham Foss. Just goes on and on about the guys we'll roll in on the D-line. And the linebacker is kind of the same way. Our nickel outside linebacker is Kenner Schlitt, another senior who started about half the season last year for us and has now moved to a full-time position. Then you've got guys at inside linebacker between Lane Summerall and Matt Anderson and Jake Roberts, and then you add Peyton Husak in there, who we talked about earlier, moving in. That's our inside linebacker depth right there. And then on the outside, Austin Mayfield, maybe the most explosive player on our team, playing to the boundary edge for us. And then Will Karampe and Hudson Husak have also got a lot of reps in the preseason.
Okay, so since it's my first year as the play-by-play announcer and the co-host with you of Ravenwood Raptors Football Weekly, school me to a little bit about the base defense. Is it a 3-4?
It is, but everybody's kind of morphed it into many things. It all started out, Appalachian State, Wofford. Everybody in Williamson County basically came from the same defensive tree. And Ron Crawford, the head coach at Brentwood, was kind of the father of that several years ago. And everybody kind of did their own take on that. And now it's kind of grown and grown. And, defensive football, the way the rules are now and everything, is super difficult to play defense. It's more about finding a way to get a negative play and then holding on to force a punt. A lot of points. The rules are kind of skewed to help the offense with RPOs and all the things, linemen downfield, everything that defensive coaches complain about. But we base out of a 3-4, but we're super multiple.
Speaking of difficulty and punts, let's not leave out the specialists here. So talk about the specialists all around.
Yep. Our kicker, our senior kicker, Drew Crabtree's committed to Brown. So, we've talked about Bucknell and Cornell and Brown. We got guys committed to some super high academic schools. Proud of those guys, proud of what Ravenwood High School offers academically to these kids. And Jackson Indris is one of the top long snappers in the country. He's back for basically his third year as a starter for us. And Carlos Guerra, who's kind of the junior of the group, has been booming kickoffs into the end zone. So, Carlos and Drew will handle the kind of the PAT kicking piece. Carlos will kick off, Drew will punt, and Jackson will snap it to everybody. So
that's awesome. We want Carlos to get those touchbacks for sure, right?
Yeah, first play of defense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so a lot to be excited about here at Ravenwood. I mean, you mentioned the academics and the great athletes. What are you most excited about for the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a super connected group. I think the culture of our locker room is as good as it's been in a long time. I think this senior group truly cares for each other. Then, that kind of trickles down to the rest of the football team. You've kind of seen this group brewing as they've been coming along, and now they're here, and it's their senior season, and it's exciting to see what they're going to do for us.
Any goals that you have, that the team have, that you want to let anybody know about?
I mean, there's really only one goal, and that's to be playing the first Saturday in December. And, Ravenwood is a program such that anything less than that is really kind of, not what we're shooting for in a season.
That's exciting. That's exciting. So it all starts week 1, Alcoa, game by game. Talk to us about the Alcoa Tornadoes.
Yeah, only 6 seniors on their roster. But, when you're playing for as many championships in a row as they're playing, you got to think about it. It's a 15-week season when you do that. And they've played for, you mentioned they've won 15 out of the last 17. So they basically played 15 weeks a year for the last 17 years, right? And so if I'm a freshman and I practice 15 weeks, and then I'm a sophomore and I practice 15 weeks. Well, we played 10-week seasons. They've added an extra season in there. So though they may be young on the roster, they are long in the tooth when it comes to playing football, and they know that they're going to play a certain style, and they're going to bring it each and every time out there.
Absolutely. And that's a good point that you make about gelling together as a team. Having an extra season in there can't be understated, that's for sure. So any keys to the game specifically that you want to share with us?
Well, I mean, first games are always kind of similar, right? It's who handles those first game jitters, right? Who doesn't get the penalties that usually only show up early in the season? Who handles taking care of the football? I mean, it sounds like coach speak, but penalties and turnovers are going to play a huge role. We've got to handle the adversity of getting on a bus and traveling 3.5 hours away and losing an hour and all the things that come along with that. Purposefully done, though, because it's in preparation for what we hope to be taking in long bus trips later in the season come playoff time. So, you kind of got to figure out what that looks like, what that feels like. You don't want it to be, Thanksgiving week the first time you get on a bus for a long time. So I think our kids will be ready. They're used to taking trips that are of distance. I don't think it'll catch us off guard, but in the end, it's going to be the little coach speak type things that are going to play the difference in the game.
Absolutely love it. Purposefully done. Just prepping those student athletes for playoff time.
Absolutely.
Let's go to Alcoa. Let's have a good game. Let's get a win. Let's start the season off right. And before we go, let's thank some people.
All right.
Let's thank some people. So, again, this is episode 1 of Ravenwood Raptors Football Weekly. The star of the show, Coach Will Hester, doing a great job. And I think we need to thank the Ravenwood Red Zone, of course, the Red Zone, and John Kimple. And I think we need to thank Athletic Director Andy Elrod for helping us out.
I think so. Right on
Thank
cue.
Coach Hester. Coach Hester. Coach Hester is also like Media Information Director. I don't know if everybody else out there knows that, but Media Information Director here at Ravenwood, helping get me all the information I need about the team so that I can do my job, and I appreciate that. Got to thank Reggie Mason. Who else? Who else do we need to thank here?
Obviously, throughout the broadcast of the games, we'll be working with the media department here and, their class and Miss Keene and her students, right? And but, yeah, in the end, Paul Hickey's going to have to pull all this together. So success or failure, Paul.
There we go. This is my job, and I'm excited for the job, and I'm excited really to kind of bring this information to the Ravenwood community, the athletes' families, the faculty, staff, anyone interested. So thanks for having me, Coach. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
All right, so check out ravenwood.football. No .com, everybody, just ravenwood.football. That website is going to give you all the information you need to find this podcast every week, to find the live streams of the games, home and away, ravenwood.football. We're going to keep it updated for you. Everybody, thanks so much. Coach, thanks again, man. Good luck at Alcoa. I'm excited to be there.
Appreciate it. Look forward to talking about it next week.
Let's go. Have a great day, everybody.